So, Erin, thank you for coming and joining me.
Yay! Hello, everybody.
So, maybe you want to share a little bit about yourself because before we started to record, I asked you about the beginning of your journey, and I know you were very high into sports and also bodybuilding, and then your journey started. And maybe you want to share a little bit how it started.
Um, Goodness, I'm wondering where to start.
Take your time. Ah,
Well, I many moons ago, I was an avid runner and had completed 2 marathons. And I remember walking into the gym one day, and I said to the trainer, the first woman that came up to me, I said, "I want to be a better runner." And so I ended up signing up for 3 sessions with her and ended up working with her for over a year at least. We became very good friends. I fell in love with bodybuilding. And before I knew it, I had set my sights on competing. And the more weight I dropped, the less feminine I looked.
mm,
And while I looked very good, I still looked very feminine. And when I look back at pictures, I wonder why I did what I did with the implants, because
mm,
the person that I see in the pictures before was very lovely. And, but, um, thinking that I needed this to look feminine and to feel feminine and to have it, um, kind of complete the competition package. You
mhm,
know, when you get up on stage and you have to look a certain way and everything needs to be symmetrical. And um, I thought that the implants were the way to go. And so it was 2006 when I got my first set in. And I didn't notice anything right away. I was still working out a lot. And, um, but I started to have little things pop up, like a lot of gastrointestinal issues. I suddenly had intolerances to food that I hadn't had before. Um, the vertigo was something new for me, and it was debilitating. And it was one of those things where I remember as a child loving to go on roller coasters and have that spinning feeling of, just play and whatnot. And I couldn't do anything like that anymore because it made me physically ill. So little things like that. And then fast forward to 2016, I was preparing for a women's figure competition, and I had a ruptured implant.
mhm,
And I had my suit adjusted so that I could take the stage and feel fairly good about my physique, but I wasn't able to get it repaired until 6 months after the show. And I had a silicone set put in, thinking that, well, I work a very strenuous job and silicone is more resilient. And it's just, I'm a petite person. So when I was lifting boxes and things, because I work in a warehouse, I would use my breasts for leverage. And so my logical mind is like, oh, these are going to help me have stronger leverage at work, which is really, really
mhm,
silly when I think about it now. But when I got the repair, um, it was just this snowball effect of symptoms and sickness. And um, I couldn't get out of bed many, many, many days. And there were many days that I didn't even want to be alive anymore because the pain that had set in my body, and not just breast pain, but joint pain and muscle pain. I had long hair down to the middle of my back. I had to cut it. I cut it short because I couldn't even raise my hands up high enough to fix it or to comb it very well, because the pain in just everything hurt all the time. But I think probably the biggest thing was that I just, saying that I didn't want to be alive anymore is, it breaks my heart to say that, because like life had no meaning anymore. I was drinking a lot. It was awful. It was an awful, awful time. But I was in a program to get certified as a massage therapist. And whenever I would go into sessions, I would find myself intuitively just having my hands laid across my breast when I would be on a table. And it wasn't until many months later, I started noticing I was having more conversations with people about my breasts, and having conversations of, I don't really feel like these resonate with me anymore. And then other people started coming to me that were like, hey, I have implants too. Have you heard about? And they put me in front of other people and resources that let me know that this is a very real thing, and that there were many, many women suffering and had been for years, and finally we're all coming out. And these women that I was meeting were having their implants removed and were having immediate results of health and healing and feeling better. And I'm still paying off my surgery from the repair right now. And I was like, how am I going to find the money to pay to get these out of my body? But everything just, every step, how do I want to say this? I was being led, and I was being guided, and I didn't understand a lot, and I didn't know anything about anything, and I worried about where money was going to come from, and I was missing so much work, and it all came together. All the money came, all the people showed up that I needed for support. Everything came together so that on May 1st of 2019, I was able to release my body of them. Wow. So, it is an incredible journey, and the journey's not over. The journey takes on a new space, because learning to love the self exactly as you are, with your scars and, your aging breasts, and letting them just be, is a journey in and of itself. Yeah. That other, the leading up to that was just the precursor to the journey, really. Wow. But thank you. I've never felt more whole, and I've never felt more grounded in my being. And I know that for me, this experience was an important part of my evolution, so that I can be the best person I can be and share that with other people. So it's okay. I don't beat myself up over it anymore.
Wow. Yeah, thank you, Erin, for for sharing your story with me, especially from such a vulnerable place, because I know how vulnerable it is, and how also how intense this whole process has been. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, what we already shared before we went into this record is that's a beautiful thing that I also see in you, and what I also feel when I hear you talking and sharing your story is that a lot of people who experience this, they stay in the suffering, oh, this overcame me and I'm still in the suffering, but what you do, and that's what I find so beautiful about you, is that you had that experience and you take the beautiful parts out of it and you integrate it, and now it's your power. It's you feel this is what I have to do in life. You have to support people, you have to guide people, you have something to give. It's a message, this whole experience is became a message now that's coming through you.
Sorry. Momentary mothering moment.
Funny.
All right, you're set. Thank you. Thank you. All right, thank you.
Yeah.
I thank you for that, for acknowledging that. It's I truly believe that the body speaks to us,
Mm-hmm.
and when we are, when it's time for something to be changed or to be released, the body will let you know. And if you're not listening, because it doesn't speak loudly in the beginning, but it really comes to us, in, we hear it in our pain.
Yeah.
We hear it in our pain, and in those moments of absolute weakness and surrender, we can finally understand what needs to happen and what steps we need to take to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a beautiful journey of deep self-love, really deep self-love, the whole journey with the breasts. Because the reason I took them, I don't know how it is for you, but the reason I took them is because I was not satisfied with my breast that I had. So the whole body image was not, for me at that moment, was not like perfect. And I hate that word perfect, because what is perfect? You're already perfect with your imperfections, but at that time, I choose that really consciously. I'm gonna do that, and I thought it would make me more happy. It will give me more self-confidence, more self-love. That was what I thought when I was choosing for those breasts. But instead of that, if I look back now at the whole journey, it brought me more downwards instead of upwards. And every woman I speak to now who did the implants and now did the explant, they all say the same. They all say, I did it because I wasn't confident about myself, about my body, and I thought it was going to heal me, it was going to make me whole. but
Right.
but instead of that, it just brought me downwards. And that's also especially what we're doing now. We need to, it's the message that needs to go out, especially to women who are thinking about doing it still. There are still women who want to do an implant. Really, really, really. It's not going to help you to be more confident or feel more love about yourself. It's a journey to really accept your body as it is. Really. And that's what you and me are talking about the last weeks when we have our voice messages. It's about the journey of self-love, but also the whole the way the media and everything, if you put your TV on, if you look at films, series, everything what's on TV, on the screens outside, the commercial screens you see outside when you're driving in your car, you only see, I don't know how I want to say perfect women, because we are all perfect, but you know what I mean with, you only see perfect women with the most beautiful bodies and the most beautiful breasts on those billboards and everything. So it's the whole day we get those imprints, everybody gets those imprints. And for me, this needs to change. This needs to end, and that's also something what I feel with this message. It's not about me, it's not about us, it's something so much bigger. It's something that's really in the, how I say it, in the collective field. Something needs to transform for us as women, the way we need to look and everything. But also, this is what I shared this morning also, with the way how men look at women. That's also something that needs to change. And I don't say that every man looks the way at the women have. Every man is different, but if you look at the bigger picture, I think the men I speak with now, especially if you're talking about breasts, if you ask a man, if you look at the breast of a woman, what do you think about? The first thing, what do you think about? It's always sexual, always. And I don't say that is not okay. I don't have something, and it's okay that men think that, but how beautiful it would be if men also can see the other side of breast, to honor the breast of a woman. They feed the children, but also the breasts they are very spiritual. The breasts, they are connected with our heart chakra. They are connected with something much bigger, a whole bigger field. It's about nurturing. Women nurture their babies with the breast, but also it's energetical. We nurture more things. This is our heart. When a woman enters a room, she enters the room with her breasts. It's her heart. It's that these breasts, they go outside, outside the body, exactly as a penis, with a man penis, it's outside the body. Our breasts is also, they are testicles. How you say it? Tentacles? I don't know the English words.
Testicles?
Antennas. No, antennas. Antennas. They are like, really, I read about it a lot. They are energetical antennas. So if you enter a room, you feel with your breasts. That's what we do. We feel with our breasts, because the breasts are the first thing that enters the room. So via our breasts, we become aware of what we feel around us. So it's the breast, the heart, and then it goes inside. These are so important for us. And it's not only sexuality, these are very spiritual. And yeah, there needs to come more consciousness about it. Also for women, especially, but also men. And it's like vice versa. We need to learn from each other, and we need to heal this together. It's not only the women, it's, we have to do it together.
Listening to you, I'm reminded of, like, for me, a lot of it had to do with control, because I come from a history of childhood and adolescent sexual abuse.
Mm-hmm.
And so I I had this whole energetic body armor that basically I thought was keeping me safe from being abused or being hurt by a man.
Mm-hmm.
And having, I'm thinking back to an experience I had back in 2005 and 2006, and this was actually before I got implants. I worked as a topless dancer. Mm-hmm. And I remember that feeling of having control over the fact that, these men could look at me, but they couldn't touch me.
Yeah.
I had full control over that.
Yeah.
And um, it wasn't until I started doing the deep trauma healing in my program that I was in that I was able to let go of that armor and to feel safe in my body
Yeah.
without having to use it for control. And um, it's incredible. It really is incredible. And I don't know that we will ever be able to. It's one of those kind of, you hope and you pray and you wish that we can shift the collective male thinking. But I think the female will just rise up and tip the scales. I don't know that men will ever be able to change. And I think that, you know, these women that are still wanting to get implants, they are going to have to walk their journey. And we can share our story and we can plant seeds along the way for anybody who's willing to listen,
Mm.
but they will have to walk their journey.
Yeah.
And I think that there will always be men that will provoke that within us so
Mm.
that as women, we can rise up to our journey and be our highest selves.
Yeah.
And it requires those experiences that require us to dig deep in ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
because that's what I think as souls we come down here and we asked for that. Like, we signed up.
We signed
We
up.
knew we
Yeah.
signed up to be, you know, women, female warriors. And
Yeah.
we're all doing our part, but we have to walk through those fires.
Yeah.
I know at my work, I've had a few different women come up to me after hearing my story, and they watched my, I don't know what the word is, my downward spiral of health.
Yeah.
And they came up to me after learning what was going on, and they said, I was going to get implants, and now after hearing your story, I'm not going to, and I just wanted to thank you.
Mm. Hmm.
And so you never know where your impact is.
Yeah.
But one of the biggest things I learned was to not be afraid to share my pain, because I was keeping it all hidden,
Mm-hmm.
because you know, it's private, and not everybody is ready for it. Not everybody deserves to know that about you, and not everybody is able to hold that space with you. And people going through this journey need incredible space holders.
Yes.
And so having people come up and go, you know what, thank you, thank you
Mm.
for being vulnerable and open, because I am now going to try and love myself the way I am, because I don't want to go through I don't want to go through that, and I wouldn't wish that on anybody.
Wow. Especially so many years, because
Right.
how many years you have your implants?
um 2006, 16, 17, almost 12,
Yeah.
11. It was over 11.
Yeah, for me too, between 10 and 11 years. Yeah. Yeah. That's a long time. And when did your how you say it, your symptoms started? How many years that you felt like, okay, something's off after implanting for you?
um Initially, I would just have these little things pop up. I had a lot of chronic pain in my back, and I would just attribute it to, oh, I worked out too hard,
Yeah.
or, you know, things were going on where I would feel a certain way, and I would go, oh, well, I'm almost 40. You know,
Yeah.
I would find little ways to make sense of it, but I didn't really start feeling the hit of everything until after I had the second set put in.
Yeah.
And that was when everything just literally took a dump.
Yeah.
But I will say now, after a year and a half, I still deal with chronic pain, but not anything like the degree that it was.
Mm.
Um, my gut is healed.
Wow.
So I'm able, the things that it doesn't do well with gluten or dairy,
Mm.
things like that. But, I can eat a burger every once in a while now, and before I couldn't. um,
That's nice. Eden burger.
I don't,
Yeah.
the vertigo is gone.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said earlier, life looks good again. And that's all I want, because when you can look out the window or walk out the door of your house and see light and feel light in your body, then you can get through anything.
Yeah.
So I have pain in my body still every day, but I handle it and it's okay now.
Yeah.
And I don't know if, like I said, I work a really physical job.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if there, on days when I'm not working, my body doesn't hurt as much.
Yeah. So maybe that's a signal you need to quit your job and do something else.
Oh, funny you say that. Oh,
Yeah.
I-
If you feel now, how many of if you say like percentage are you healed of the most symptoms you had? 70, 80?
I would say 90+%.
Oh wow, that's a lot. Yeah. Yeah.
And the pain that I feel in my body, so much of it is triggered by nutrition.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And there's not a lot, I can't have, I say I can't, I still do, but that creates spicy foods
Mhm.
do not do well in my body.
Yeah.
Um, so there's a lot of foods that don't do well in my body, but I don't attribute that to the implants. I attribute it to my body leveling up.
Yeah, you
The
maybe.
lighter you get, the less you need in terms of density and food.
Yeah, but also the higher you get in your frequency, yeah, in your resonance, the higher frequency food you need to eat. It
Yes,
resonates better with the frequency of your body.
yes,
So it's all about, if we talk about the transformation process, what I was sharing in the beginning, the whole breast journey is about transformation for me and also for you. And yeah, our frequency change, so also that's also a part of the journey. I think that there's also the sign we got from our body that those implants, they weren't matching anymore with our frequency, so they needed to go out. Because let me tell a story. I was with that plastic surgeon last week. I shared about him, and I was talking with him, and he shared with me that the women who came in his clinic were all very, very, very sensitive people. So he called them HSP, high sensitive persons, who came in his clinic. And they all, he said, the women all had the same eyes. And he
uh-huh.
said, when I look in these eyes, you have the same, he said. You see like a very deep, yeah, it's a deeper connection. If I look in your eyes, you have that deep, dreamy eye connection. He said, and all those women who came here, they have that. So he found that very, yeah, beautiful. He wanted to share that with me. He's like, okay, they are coming on my path in my clinic. And the reason why he shared that with me, because he was really like, he had women in his clinic, they had implants and they weren't sick. And those women, like me, those sensitive women with those different eyes and spiritual,
Mm-hmm.
They had the implants and they were very sick. So, and then he shared with me, like, I now know what it is, because women who are very sensitive, more connected with their body, with a different frequency, they get ill of the implants because it doesn't resonate with them anymore and they are more connected. And
Mm-hmm.
women who don't have that, they don't feel that. They don't have a connection with the body, so they don't feel the symptoms we had, or don't feel like, I'm sick. And the body is not sharing with them because it's the body. The body talks with you like those implants need to come up because the frequency is still different.
Right.
So he was sharing about it with me. It's a very spiritual doctor. It's really beautiful, like, the difference, because I was also thinking, because I also already talked with a few women the last weeks that I, on the street, or you meet people and they know about my story and they also have implants, and they said, oh no, I don't have problems with them, and I don't feel anything, I'm very healthy, and so I'm also like, how could it be that I am so sick, and the women I know, and they like, okay, I'm very happy and I don't feel anything. But that's what he was sharing with me. He was like, really, yeah, for him it's a kind of project. It's like he's really like feeling into it. What is it, what is happening also in his clinic, the women he is attracting, in his clinic. And he's now,
Well,
yeah.
hopefully he takes it that one step further and is able to do more, collecting all the data and whatnot and putting it out there for more people to see.
He's already doing that. Huh? He's also working already very holistic. That's what I share with you. And what he is trying to do now, because he's collecting the data and also the results of the operations before and after everything, he
Mm-hmm.
is together with his team. He works in his clinic, and I think one day still in the hospital. And the reason why he's doing that, he still wants to be connected with the regular, hospital thing,
Mm-hmm.
because he wants to. The breast illness, the name breast illness, at this moment, it's still not, I say it, recognized.
Right.
Yeah, so it is there, so you get the diagnose, I get the diagnose, okay, I have the breast illness. But in the regular industry, with it's still not a recognized, I say it, recognized illness,
Recognized, acknowledged, yeah.
knowledge illness. Yeah, and so that's what he wants to do now. So that's his mission, to make that an acknowledged illness. So
Yay. So good.
beautiful. Yeah, so that's what he's going to do. So about the whole, yeah, frequency, and we were talking about the food and everything. Yeah, that's also what I feel now, with the whole breast. I'm like, oh, I'm so happy they go out my body, because he was also sharing about the heart, our heart.
Mm-hmm.
And those implants, they are in front of the heart chakra.
Mm-hmm.
And our heart chakra is like the gate. That's what I learned. You have your heart chakra, the earthly heart, but
Mm-hmm.
behind it, you also have your spiritual heart. But because of those implants, it's blocked. And
Mm-hmm.
especially now during this time we're living in, the whole change, the great awakening, and also the resonance of the earth that change, and all those updates and downloads and everything, it goes through the spiritual heart. And now the doctor told me, he said, did you ever experience pain? I said, I had so much pain in my heart, physical, like
Mm-hmm.
pulsations, like somebody was putting a knife into it, and, pressure a lot. And he said, yeah, that's because of that spiritual heart wants to grow, wants to open, wants to update, with those frequencies that's coming in, because you're growing. That heart has also, yeah, expanding. That spiritual heart is
Right.
expanding, but because of those breaths, it's like an inner conflict. And that was,
Right.
I was
Exactly.
always
Yeah.
feeling that, like, oh my god, sometimes I was thinking I was getting a heart attack or something, so much
Right.
pain. And now that I know it, I'm like, wow, it all makes sense. And especially the last years, I don't know, maybe you also had it. Sometimes I thought I was going, am I crazy? Because I really feel my body is not okay. Something is wrong. And all those doctors said, no, you're perfectly fine. I got all my results back. They were good, positive. And still I was so sick, so sick. And now that that doctor told me yesterday, she called me, you have the diagnose. I got the recognition. I'm like, wow, that was for me yesterday was so beautiful that day. And especially first I had the recognition in the I think she called it 1818. She called 1818. It was beautiful. 99. I'm like, wow, what beautiful. At 99 she called me, and she told me about the recognition of the illness. And later that night I was doing my ritual, especially because yesterday was a beautiful day, and I was doing meditation. And then I thought, oh, I'm gonna grab an old diary of myself, where I was writing in my stories. So I grabbed that thing, and I thought, sometimes I'm reading in my old diaries. I like that, and looking back at how I grow. And then I was looking, and that was for a reason that I took that one. And then I came on a page of 2013. That's about 7 years ago, 7 years ago. And I was writing about how bad I was feeling myself, the muscle pains, the joint pains, dizziness, fake, a fake foggy head.
Mhm.
I can tell so much more about it, so much symptoms. And already then, 7 years ago, the doctors always said, no, you're perfectly fine. But I was already writing about it, how bad I was feeling. So yesterday evening, I was reading. I'm like, oh my God, 7 years ago, I already felt so much pain. And I accepted that and started to learn how crazy it is, learn to live with it. But always
Right.
I knew something is wrong. Still I knew something is wrong, and I hold on to that. And now 7 years later, yeah, now I know what it is. But those 7 years, how crazy it sounds, they were necessary for my inner journey. It took a while, but I still know, because everything happens for a reason, I needed those 7 years.
Mhm.
Because if I didn't need them, it already was going to be clear for me maybe 2 years later or something. But that didn't happen. So yeah.
I remember having, I had such a fear of doctors. I had such a fear of doctors, and I had such a belief in my body's ability to heal itself
Hmm.
that I would never go to doctors unless I absolutely had to. I would go get my yearly um, well woman exam and things like that. But if I didn't run to the doctor for every little thing, I mean, I know people that go to the doctor for every little thing, and I couldn't do that. I don't know. Like for me, it felt like a waste of time a little bit, and then I also didn't trust. I trusted myself more,
Yeah.
but I realize now, after looking back, when I spent so many years in with the bodybuilding and being so physical, that I thought I was connected to my body,
Hmm.
and I wasn't.
No.
It wasn't until my illness got so extreme that I couldn't exercise anymore, that I literally had to stay in bed all day. That's when I got connected in my body.
Yeah.
And that's when I started hearing what was going on. Um, but yeah, I didn't want to go to doctors. I didn't want to be told that they didn't believe me. I, I, I'm still working on trusting Western medicine.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I can really feel you in that part of the moment you couldn't do anything anymore. and you were so tired and you had so much pain, that was the moment you were really connected with your body. I had exactly the same. Exactly the same. Yeah. When I was laying down in my bed, it was 2018. I couldn't do anything anymore. Nothing. Walking to the toilet was already too much. Yeah. And you and me, we were both from the sports industry. That's also our connection, the similarity. You were like in the bodybuilding, and I was also on a very high level training also. I was a personal trainer. I was in the gym for, I think, 12 hours a week exercising, also very on a high level. And I also didn't have a connection with my body. I also think really that's also the message I got out of it all is that a woman um, doesn't need to be so harsh on herself. You know, you have sports, but we as women also need the yin energy a lot. And
Yes.
if you too much in the sports industry and you have those very hard muscles, you know, that heart, it's like almost a defense mechanism, you know. It's too hard for the female body. The female body, in some kind of way, needs to be soft. You know,
Yes.
that's how we are. We need that softness on our body, and that's the most beautiful message I got out of it. You know, I was also, as you, by very hard muscles, and then my body started to change when I was in bed and getting more feminine and more softy and more in my yin energy, more receptive, more open, receiving. You know, that's really feminine. So it has also been a journey of becoming more feminine, more into my feminine energy, and yeah, also, yeah, more balance. Yeah, stepping out of the survivor, you know, the fight flight freeze mode. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
It's
we can talk
interesting about
hours about it.
we could. We could. I
we,
know
we need to do a part two, I think.
part two is always good. Yes.
Yeah, I think it's good to do a part two and to make this one round some kind of way, and maybe, yeah, if you feel into it, maybe you want to give the people who are watching, especially the women who are watching, or also men, because men also watch these conscious share moments. Maybe you want to share a message from within.
For now or part two?
Oh, no, for now. Maybe maybe you feel something like, okay, this really needs to be shared before we're gonna round up. This is what I want to share with women and men.
The thing that is coming to me, this is specifically for women, is trust yourself.
Mm.
Trust yourself. We have been put down in so many ways for, God, centuries, right? We are powerful beings, and you have to trust that what is going on in your body and the messages that are coming through, you have to trust the goodness in them and trust that you know what's going on with yourself. And even if you have a very, because it can be a woman too, there's been, you know, male and female doctors and surgeons that don't believe in this.
Mm-hmm.
And you ladies have to trust in yourself. And even if they're staring you down and telling you no, have the courage to walk out knowing that
Mm.
you know yourself. and there's nobody that can tell you different. I know one of the hardest things I dealt with was when I would go to work and be in so much pain and try to put on a happy face. And lots of people didn't understand that I was sick.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I would have such strange symptoms going on. And there was one day where my body completely shut down and they were just short of calling an ambulance because I couldn't think. It was almost like the precursor to a seizure, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
Um, but people didn't understand. And it's really important that you stand in that trust place with yourself, because people are not going to see it. They're not going to be able to see past the things that they, you know, well, you don't look sick.
Hmm.
You know, you're here at work, you don't look sick.
I heard that so many times. This sentence, yeah, sentence, sentence. I sentence, huh? Yeah.
Sentence, yeah, statement.
Oh wow, I did it good. Yeah,
But
I heard.
they don't know what you had to walk through to
No,
get to your day.
but
They
that's
don't know the
because
courage that it took.
you are so positive. That's because you, me, we are so positive persons, you know, still in that positivity, still in that happy face, but also we both, I know that for you too, I think so, we are both survivors.
Mhm.
Yeah. So that's the way we went through this. Being that survivor, you know, I'm going through that like that warrior, you know, the warrior energy and the positivity we have, and also the connection, you know. We didn't lose the connection. Even when we were thinking about, I want to die because I had the same feeling. If I need to live with this my whole life, I don't want to live anymore. But still, there was that connection.
Mhm.
Always. I didn't lose that connection. Yeah.
I don't think we're meant to.
No, we're not meant to.
If it's not our time, it's not our time.
Yeah. But beautiful message for women to.
And I have one for men.
Nah.
Um, be willing to listen. Even if it doesn't make sense to you, even if you want to argue about it, even if you don't understand any of it, just be willing to listen and be willing to believe what she's telling you.
Hmm.
Because everybody knows somebody that is affected this way.
Yeah.
Either they have implants and they're sick, they have implants and they have things that are going on and they don't know about it, or they are on the fence about getting them, or they really want to get them and they're just, you know, waiting for the money. But everybody knows somebody in that realm that is affected by implants. And we each have such an important place in that of making a change.
Yeah. Yeah. Hmm.
And that, taking a breath, I took for granted breathing
Yeah.
with
Breathing.
implants. But
Breathing.
being able to take in a deep breath is one of the most beautiful
Ooh,
feelings ever.
yeah. Hmm.
So
Thank you, Erin. Thank you.
thank you.
And this is part one. It's part one for me. I feel this one is round, but I really feel it's going to be a part two where we go deeper into the spiritual process. That's what I feel. Yeah.
Mm.
Mm. Because it's so much bigger.
Amen to that.
Yes, to that. So what I'm going to do, I'm gonna round up now for the people who are listening and watching us. Thank you very much for listening, and yeah, please feel free also to ask questions if you have any questions for me or for Erin, I will put her name in the message with a link or something. You can go to her profile and you can always ask her questions or me. And yeah, feel free to share, because sharing is healing. And that's what we need to do, especially in these times, huh? With the whole corona thing. But that's the most important thing, to connect and share. So thank you very much, and see you at part 2. Bye bye.